Hello and welcome to the Perpetual Traffic Podcast.
The show where we help you grow and scale your business and get made fun of because people like Ralph more than me. So if you want to not be as mean as potentially some of our guests who gave Ralph great stuff, you can send me smiley face cookies.
You're just jealous because our guests they gave me a shock and awe package and you got nothing. But I have a feeling after this show you actually will. I'm Ralph Burns, the founder of Tier 11. And who are you again?
I don't know, that like tall blonde girl that eats cookies for a living. Lauren E. Petrullo, founder of Mongoose Media.
Glad you joined us today. And where can we hang out, Lauren? If you're a new listener of Perpetual Traffic, we've got a little community that we answer questions and talk about episodes like today, which I'm sure is going to inspire a lot of conversations. Where can they find us?
You can find us on our Telegram channel, which you can get to by going to perpetualtraffic.com/Telegram and join the party. We've got hundreds of humans in there and conversations are lit.
Yeah, that's so Gen Z. Oh my God. So today we are not talking to two Gen Z guys. That's like the saving grace of today's show. I have a feeling they're Gen X. I'm just going to say they're Gen X. So I feel at home here today, finally for the first time for guests. I'm sick of all these young people. But the point is these guys are going to be talking about something that I don't think we've ever talked about in Perpetual Traffic. And I've said that a lot recently, which is good because we tend to talk about, a lot of the things, well, in our most recent episodes, Lauren, obviously is business metrics, the 15 business metrics, which you can obviously get over at perpetualtraffic.com/MPI. Today, we're going to take a break on that and talk about something that's, I think, relevant for both agencies, because I know you're out there listening, agency people, and also e-commerce brands. So if you're a VP of marketing, director of marketing, you're a CMO, you have an e-commerce store, this is your show here today. And we're going to be talking about reputation management. What the heck is reputation management? And we've got DJ Sprague and Scott Brandley from Shopper Approved here today. Welcome to Perpetual Traffic, DJ and Scott.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. We're super excited
to be here, man.
And technically, I'm the tail end of the boomer generation. So I'm the last year. So Scott is an X. I'm a boomer.
I married a boomer, but she's pissed off about that, quite honestly. She's like, just one more year. But I married up.
You married up. You did indeed.
I'm so mature, right? So anyway, so we're talking what is reputation management, and why is it important, and why should anybody actually care about it? Because you guys wrote an entire book on that, which we'll talk about that in depth here. But what is reputation management? Why is it so important? Why do our listeners care about it?
Well, reputation is all about perception, right? What people think about you, what people say about you, how they perceive your brand. And when it comes to e-commerce, your reputation is everything, because they have nothing to base your relationship on other than what they see. Like in the past, before the internet, there was word of mouth, and that's how you got your word out about your company or your brand, right? Hey, you got to go check out this company. Hey, you got to go see this movie. But it's not like that online. People find you through search or through social media, and you have fractions of a second to establish trust and credibility. And we help with that. That's what we do for a living.
Yeah, your reputation really is the social proof, as Scott said, what people are saying about you behind your back and publicly. It's everything that shows up about your brand, the comments, the reviews, the statements, the feedback, everything from the threads, Quora, Reddit, to the review platforms, social media on your website. All of those trust badges that indicate, oh, this is a reputable brand. Obviously, right. Trust badges can include things like awards, recognition, memberships, milestones, degrees, accomplishments, customers served, years in business. But a big part of that, and the biggest part of that really, is your customer reviews, because that's the default that people look to establish whether or not they want to do business with your company or buy that product. So they can look at your seller ratings to see if they trust your website. Then they can look at your product reviews to see if they trust the product. And we know that 94% statistically of shoppers look at those things to say, oh, okay, I trust this brand and I trust this product. And if they don't see reviews, or they don't see a good enough review score or enough reviews, then they have reservations, trepidation, anxiety, and they may or may not check out. So reviews are the foundation of your online reputation, but reputation management goes beyond just that. It goes to sending reviews across the web, so you have reviews in multiple search results, so that when people are looking on page one, they don't just see one place with reviews, but they see multiple: social media, multiple review platforms, your own website. That creates what we call the trifecta. So it becomes beyond a reasonable doubt that you are a trustworthy brand. And then it's really easy to subconsciously click on one of those search results and go to your website.
So did Jeff Bezos just blow it for all of us with Amazon? Did he just wreck it for all e-commerce companies? Or do you guys look at that as saying, okay, well, the model that we have now, and we see this all the time, and you guys know, we run hundreds of millions of dollars in ads. And what we see is the customer journey, the path, the conversion path from, no click to maybe a click to over here, to over there, to here, to there. And then finally to, if you're e-commerce, the conversion happens on Amazon, or maybe on a Google search. So like in a lot of e-commerce
well, Scott has a story
businesses,
about that.
Yeah. So in a lot of e-commerce businesses, like that's the biggest thing. They're like, well, we make 18% less on Amazon. So what we really want you to do as an agency is drive more to our Shopify store. And who cares about Amazon? I'm like, well, that's bullshit, because first off, people are going to do what people are going to do. And one of the best things about Amazon, in my opinion, is the reviews. I forget what I just bought. It was like a,
you should have got smiley face
I bought
cookies.
So many things. Yeah. Smiley face cookies.
You only bought one thing?
No.
You probably bought like 10 things yesterday.
It was a water detection, because I'm in a house right now that actually was flooded like a year and a half ago. So I got a water detection system, and there's 300 of them on Amazon. And I went immediately to the reviews, the stars. I went past the sponsored, and then I went right to the one, and I read the most relevant reviews, and then I read the worst review. And then I was like, okay, I feel safe in that decision. And, the thing hasn't come yet, but I just ordered it yesterday. The point is like, I didn't really even look at the product. I only looked at the review, just because that's how my brain works. And I never went to their website. So I know they probably make less as a percentage. Like as a business owner, I'm thinking, all right, I'm probably screwing them out of 15 or 18% right off the top. Got to pay that to Jeff. But the point is like Amazon has set a standard for e-commerce brands. And what you guys do is keeping up with that, but then some. Correct? And that's really reputation management. So when I say Jeff Bezos blew it for all of us, did he actually just help us to raise our own game?
I think he helped us raise the game, honestly. Ironically, I got the idea for Shopper Approved from Amazon. Back in 2008, I saw what they were doing, and it just blew me away because nobody else was doing what they were doing in the review space. And my big idea was, why isn't somebody doing this for other websites? And that's where the idea of Shopper Approved came from. And we've just kind of taken off from that point.
Yeah. And really, Amazon did set the standard in terms of that buyer experience of the product page. So if you look at their configuration, you have reviews. Right next to that, you have Q&A. And then right next to the add to cart or buy now button, you have secured transaction. So we've actually emulated that entire process. And that's what we call our traffic and conversion suite. And it's on our website. But what that does is it instills the behavioral science principle of familiarity. People like to buy from products, brands, people, etc., that they're familiar with, because it takes out that cognitive load. It's like, oh, I've been there. I know how that works. That looks familiar. That's easy. I'm just going to do that, because we all automatically default to what we're familiar with and what's easy. And so obviously Amazon spent millions of dollars testing that configuration. We did our own survey, and we found that when those three elements were not on the website, people did not want to buy from that. In fact, 91% of the survey respondents said, I prefer this configuration, which is our traffic conversion suite, which emulates exactly what Amazon does. 91%. So I'd rather buy from 100%. A versus B, A being the one with that configuration. Why? Familiarity. And it answers the three conversion questions. Do I trust this product, site, and transaction? And so again, that takes out that friction, that fear, that anxiety. And so yes, Amazon set the standard, but if you know the game that's being played and you know the rules, then you're in the game. If you don't know the rules, you're not in the game. 91%.
91%. I also noticed one of the other things, I'm actually on the site right now and I'm going back through my buyer decision. I immediately went to the bestseller because they told me it was the bestseller. Yeah, popularity. So I'm a sucker for social proof. We all know social proof. You guys are Cialdini disciples. Which, by the way, if you have not read the book Influenced by Robert Cialdini and you're listening to this podcast, shame on you. Go buy it right now and listen to it 20 times.
Gonna ring a bell for them and walk them down the streets?
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, they just want to listen to our show. Like, whoa, learn from him first and then come back and listen to us, but listen to us at the same time. The point is that you guys understand the psychology of persuasion. That's really what I'm getting at. And that's why reputation management is just a persuasion vehicle, whether it really is social proof at the end of the day. Correct? Mm-hmm. But there's multi-layers to it. There's so many different parts to it. So maybe take us through, if you're an e-commerce store and you're like, God damn it, every time, somebody looks for my stuff, they always then go over and buy at Amazon. And for some businesses, that's great. For some businesses, we find that that's a problem, or they don't want to include it in their media mix. So, but tell us sort of what is an ideal journey for an e-com? Like, what should I see? Like, how do I leverage this concept of reputation management to ultimately achieve my vision as an organization, as a business, which means to grow and scale?
Well, I think it starts at the very beginning of search, honestly. Mm-hmm. If you are not visible in Google, especially, because a lot of people, they do make decisions on social media, but Google is still a very important part of the decision-making process. People go and do a search because they want more information on a product, or they want to find a product in a specific, to fill a specific need. If you don't show up in the top 5 positions in search, you don't exist.
Gosh, that's like you didn't post it on Instagram. Did it really happen? You're saying if you don't show up on right. Google, do you really exist?
Right. Exactly. So I think the way we look at things is we look at it from the point of view of a conversion path. And so what we try to do is, can we get social proof into Google at the very beginning of the search? And can we continue to have that social proof show up as they continue through Google to the point that they'll actually want to click on that, on one of your links and then go to your site? And then we show social proof all the way through from the home page to the category page to the checkout page, so that it's just continually amplifying that proof, that authority, to the point that they buy. It's a journey.
So if you think about Eugene Schwartz's 5 levels of awareness, not aware, problem aware, or solution aware, and then product aware, and then aware, we help with the problem aware, solution aware, and product aware, because the seller ratings, the product reviews, and then the search optimized Q&A help optimize those search results for those various stages of awareness. So, for example, the Q&A helps with those long tail, high purchase intent searches around what is this, how does it work, what's the best solution, A versus B, etc. Those are going to be more of your solution product aware searches. And if you don't show up in those, and your competitor does, you lost that business, whether you're on Amazon or not. So you have to have those answers showing up in search in a search optimized fashion. Now, you talked about Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes, you do need to be on Amazon. Why? Because people look at Amazon for, are you legit? If you're on Amazon, you're a legitimate company. We have our book on Amazon just to be legitimate. We don't really sell a lot of books on Amazon, but people know we're legitimate because we're there. So that's important. But you want to make sure that your reviews are showing up throughout, as Scott said, the buyer journey, from problem aware to solution aware to product aware, so that you're answering those questions, you're visible, you have the social proof, you have the credibility, you have the authority, and people can trust your brand, your product, and your solution.
I have a small weird question then. If you're saying if you're not on Amazon, it's not a valid kind of component, but I know a lot of brands that we've worked with that refuse to go on Amazon for their own decisions, and other people will sell their product on Amazon on their behalf. There'll be vendors all day, same. So when you have a product like this that's promoting the seller and going to like, this is the true north, this is the real company. Amazon, of course, runs the risk of them being fake products, which happens a lot because I'm going to withdraw anything I would say specifically on that topic. But if someone, are you suggesting that someone like is on your website, will look, see your reviews, and then also go check on Amazon before they make the purchase decision on the website and check those reviews side by side?
Research says that people do look at Amazon just to make sure you're a viable company. And it's kind of a branding play. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense.
They want to make sure you're legit. Oh. And that's one of the things that people do is look at Amazon for that. In fact, a popular search term, if you look at your search console, most brands will see in their top 10 searches is XYZ legit, your brand, your website, your product. It's a very common search term. And that's where we help dominate, because the review stars are optimized for search. We have a dedicated review page where your reviews show up, product and seller and video. So that helps dominate that search term, is brand X legit. And then by having a review page, dedicated subfolder on your website, that helps dominate that search result as well. Because it's a very common search term, because again, people are just looking for, is this a scam? Is this legit? Is this real?
Sure.
What are people saying? Where's the social proof? Where's the trust? Right. So you've got to own that search term.
So that's like legit? The seller ratings that you provide help say like, look, we are just as credible as Amazon, because people could be like, you could steal my information. I don't know if I trust this website, but I trust Amazon.com because it has so many seller ratings and you need to. And so then that solution specifically overcomes and mitigates the like, will this be drop shipping? Will this be real? Will this be calling my mother trying to scam her? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Your seller rating and product reviews combined create that trust.
It's interesting. Well, and there's even some clients that premium price on Amazon because they don't want them to buy on Amazon, but they know they've got enough. They probably don't have a tremendous amount of reviews, but it just ends an era of legitimacy. Hey, it's $67 over at Amazon, free shipping with Prime, but on our site you can get it for $37, with 2-3 day shipping. So it helps with conversion rate on the site, and then we see the path going back to the site in some cases, which is, it depends on your business. Like if your gross profitability is such that Amazon is not really a lucrative channel, you can leverage it for that. But yeah, I see what you're saying here, because it is certainly important. Scott, you were going to add something to that.
Yeah. Well, and along what you just said, there's a bigger strategy here, right? Because Amazon is actually really good in search, and because they do collect product reviews, those show up in search, right? So one of the other studies that we've done is we actually surveyed consumers, and we actually asked them very specific questions about how they determine if a company is trustworthy. And so what we found is that they actually triangulate a brand's reputation nowadays. So they'll actually, another really popular search that they'll do is like abc.com reviews, right? Before they actually buy something.
Sure.
What we found was 2 out of every 3 consumers will go and do a search like that to triangulate a brand's reputation before they buy. So Amazon could be one of those brands that show up with reviews that they use to triangulate if a brand or a product is credible. Mm-hmm. And so there is that that play that you can use from Amazon, but even bigger than that, as a reputation strategy, you should actually try to have a good reputation on multiple different types of review platforms so that when consumers go to triangulate your reputation, they can see that you truly are a brand from multiple perspectives.
Got it. So they might Google
takes your reputation up.
Like wired.com best whatever your product is reviews. That's basically like you see that in the search terms as part of this is like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Review platforms.
Got it.
Yeah. You want to show up
on the platforms themselves.
Shopper,
okay.
Yeah. Shopper approved, Trustpilot, Amazon, SiteJabber, Better Business Bureau, right? When scouts talk about triangulating, they're looking at 2, 3, 4 different review platforms to see what your average star rating is and how many reviews you have. So, for example, if you do a search for XYZ widget or seller brand, and you see a 1.9 on one site and a 2.3 on another and a 4.8 on a third, what are you going to believe? The survey says you're going to believe the 2 with a lower average rating than the 1 with a higher. Sure. So what you want to do is get high reviews on 3 or more platforms, and that's the triangulation. So now you see a 4.6, a 4.7, and a 4.5. Oh, that's a credible brand because it's average.
I'm safe.
It's triangulated.
Yeah,
I'm safe. Yeah. I'm good. I can hit add to cart.
But it also depends on the size of the investment for the purchase. Like when I was doing my water detector, I was trying to remember what it was. I think it was like water detector system. It's $49. I didn't go anywhere else. I just was like, Amazon, boom, looks good.
Yeah.
7,000 reviews. The orange goes all the way pretty much to the right, but not quite. So I know it's not quite, total crap. I once read that it's 4.8 to 4.9 to 4.7 is like the ideal spot because it's not like the perfect 5.0.
Because it feels fake.
So it's like it feels fake.
Yeah.
So is it possible, and I'm going to pause Kevin on this one. What would be really cool is if you guys did a screen share and showed this, like even with a customer or like a Google search, and then what an ideal path looks like. Is that possible to do that? To make it more visual, or am I totally disrupting everything?
Let me see.
Because our audience is like listening, and they want to watch and sort of see, because we're talking in theory right now, and I find like the screen.
Like I want to see where the seller, like I want to see a e-commerce store that has Trustpilot, like Better Business Review I think of. But when you're like these different kind of components, I'd like to be on them. And that there are some, like my use case, I look for a doctor. So my health insurance portal showed this doctor had 2 reviews. I was like, well, is it a function of this portal? So then I went to other places. Like I triangulated in that capacity, but I knew and understood that my health insurance portal, people aren't leaving reviews on health insurance portals.
Right.
So I took it with a grain of salt, but I ignored everyone who had a bad review. I was like, all right, well, you're automatically eliminated.
Right.
But I've never seen like Better Business Bureau and those being brought in, because I think of that as like triple B or whatever it is, as like vendor complaints.
At this point, we've been talking about like what the ideal journey looks like. Let's actually go and do a screen share so you can see this. If you're listening in the car, you're taking the dog for a walk, this is something that you're going to have to go to perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube. We'll have this video with Scott and DJ up simultaneously when we release these. So I want you guys to get an idea of what a good experience looks like. And maybe we'll even talk about like where, a lot of e-commerce stores sort of fall down. And this is, at the end of the day, I look at this as like, this is CRO. This is after the click. you got to have an agency or somebody to know to sort of get to the point to understand and get aware of your brand. We're sort of assuming that we'll put the traffic side and the awareness and consideration. This is more on like, hey, I'm still considering it. I'm aware of the brand, but now I'm about to convert. What do people miss here? What's a good example of maybe one that we can show on YouTube of how this looks from an actual, buyer transaction standpoint?
Yeah, so we talked earlier about triangulation. We talked about online reputation management in search, because that's where it usually starts and that's where it usually finishes. So even if people go to your sales page or product page or squeeze page, landing page of any size or type, they're also going to want to bounce back. And this has been shown in lots of research, that if they go to your squeeze page, landing page, product page, they're also probably going to leave that and go back to search and look for, is this product or is this seller, this brand legitimate, credible? What are their reviews? And this is part of that triangulation concept, where they're not quite convinced until they go back and do a little bit more research to remove any anxiety or doubt or fear about your reviews and your social proof. So this is a search for mountaincrestgardens.com reviews, a very common search. It could also be mountaincrestgardens.com legit, or is mountaincrestgardens.com legit, also a very common search term. So in this instance, what you're seeing here is a search optimized reviews page. This is a dedicated subfolder, as you can see in the URL strand, that there's a dedicated page for reviews. So it's optimized for this search. This would also come up in is legit, because legit and reviews are thematically related. Now you're also going to see, maybe Reddit or Quora or some other forum oftentimes. Right. You're going to see various review platforms. So we're helping them send reviews through our platform to other review platforms, such as this. You're also going to see videos or video reviews. We also collect video reviews and syndicate those and send those to YouTube. This is our search optimized dedicated microsite for the reviews. And then you go down and you see more and more, right? So this is that triangulation. It's like, okay, these guys look legit. They look legit. Reviews. Yeah.
Got it. So just that unto itself, let me just stop you there. Like just having a .com/reviews page is a big aha, I think, maybe for a lot of our listeners.
Yeah. It's huge.
A lot of people miss that.
Yeah. I mean, I have.
Well, so we actually tell our clients to make that page specifically. The reason that page exists for this client is because we told them to make it.
Right.
And then we gave them code that allows them to put their reviews on that page. So but it's an easy win, right? Because what's Google gonna put at the top of search? They're gonna put your domain name reviews.
Yeah.
Right. So that's an easy win. You can get that. You can be at the top of the search for that. Super easy.
That's a huge takeaway right there. And if you're an SEO agency, or you're an agency just in general, and you're trying to increase the conversion rate for your clients, like this is a big deal. Just having that if you do nothing else on this podcast, at least you got that. Now, obviously, you guys are here. You sell a product, which we're going to talk about in a second, but obviously that enhances the whole experience. But in this particular case, like Mountain Crest Gardens, if it was 3 letters and then the 3 words rather, and then reviews, it would pop up as well. You want to make sure that you're showing up for not just the .com, but also sort of your brand name plus reviews. But there might be Mountain Crest Gardens like all over the place. But the point is like just having a reviews page is a big step, and it's the triangulation that you folks are talking about, which is epic.
Exactly. And then we power this page, right? So this is all powered from Shopper Approved. Yep. Now you look over here and you see verified buyer. What that means is they actually checked out. They bought the product. And so it's not a verified reviewer, which is semantics, but a lot of review companies say verified reviewer, which means they verified their email. It doesn't mean they bought the product. It doesn't mean they're a customer. They could still be, a competitor leaving a bad review, or they could still be a fake review because all they did was verify the email address. So verified buyer from shopper approved means they bought the product. So this is great social proof. And by the way, people look at not just your average star ratings and your total number of reviews, but they look at the recency. They want to see when was the last review left. So notice here, July 31st, 2024. Right. That means this company is selling products every single day. They're collecting reviews every single day.
Yeah.
They're current. They're relevant. They're not from 2020, which means, okay, maybe this isn't a real active, popular website.
For sure.
Right? So you want to be collecting reviews every single day from every single customer, if possible, because that recency is an important part of that equation.
100%.
So you've got volume, you've got recency, and then you've got average star review. And then, of course, what is the review saying? And if you go down here, now they can go to more reviews, right, and see everything that you've displaying on your review page. Now, if we go here,
scrolling on the rest of the Google search.
Yep, more Google search. You're going to go to the shopper approved dedicated microsite. Now, notice it says shopperapproved.com/reviews/Mountain Crest Gardens. So this is where we house all of their seller and product reviews. So you can see the overall star rating, 78,801 reviews collected, 64,000 5-star ratings. You can scroll through the reviews here. And then from here, you can see product reviews.
Oh, cool.
And you can scroll through all the product reviews.
And so going back to the company, it shows like the total is aggregating all product reviews and everything, because when you look at the product had a few hundred, but then this has, 73,000 reviews. Is that combining the seller ratings, the product ratings, and everything in between?
This is just your seller. This is your seller.
Okay.
So this is company or merchant or seller reviews. Yeah. They're kind of used interchangeably, right? So some people call them company reviews, some call them merchant reviews, some call them seller reviews. Google calls them seller, so we call them seller. But then you've got product, which is separate. And then from here, you've got your top rated products. So you can see 335 reviews, 217 reviews, 203 reviews, 155 reviews, 137 reviews. So let's go to this one. And this is going to then show us all of the reviews for that particular product, and then the breakdown, how many 5-star, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. And then from there, I can scroll down and read the actual product reviews, many of which have pictures.
Yeah.
And now I can go to view the product on the seller's product page.
A direct link.
But still, 73,000 for the company versus a few hundred for the product. It instills so much more trust, because especially if you're a large SKU store, you might have hundreds of products with maybe like a few dozen reviews spread across all of them. But as a company, as an entity, when you're selling so many, that curation experience, you're able to show a stronger reputation.
That's right.
Like, this is impressive. Right. Like, again, that's a huge number.
It's a massive number. And I'm thinking about how long this would take to do all this manually. Like, we're talking thousands of man-woman hours. One of the other parts of this is obviously you guys are showing a favorable screen capture here for sure. Let's not kid ourselves. However, there are a lot of 1- and 2-star reviews on this. But they are dwarfed by the 5 and 4. So from my perspective, like, my bullshit-o-meter all of a sudden just dropped, because I'm like, there's always going to be those people. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, I'll go, like, whenever I rent an Airbnb, I look at the worst review. I'm like, that guy's an asshole. But like, I'm going to listen to like the 4 and 5. In most cases, that works. My wife's like, oh my God, you have like 100% hit rate on Airbnbs. It's like, because of the reviews. I just realized that right now. It's like, that's what I do. So it's like the bad ones are good, which is counterintuitive. Well,
let's talk about that for a second, Ralph, because that's really, really important. And I think a lot of people miss that. as a one of the top review companies and as a Google partner, we actually are required to be completely transparent. Right. So we cannot allow our clients to remove 1-star reviews.
Right.
Wow.
And so what that does is that we show what actually is real. We can't change that. And so that adds another level of credibility. But also, when it comes to 1-stars, I think a lot of companies miss this. And this comes down to the strategy side. 1-star reviews are your most powerful type of review asset that you can possibly collect if you leverage it. So a lot of things that people do is they get 1-stars and then they just pretend that they...
I've ever heard on this show. But anyway, go ahead, Scott.
But you talked about doing this yourself, Ralph.
Yeah. So most companies, when they get a 1-star, they pretend it doesn't exist. They they think it's the plague, right?
Yeah.
They try to get us to remove it because they don't want their customers to think that they're a bad company. But what they should do is actually lean into it and embrace the 1-star. Because there's two reasons. One, it's an incredible opportunity to show that particular customer that you truly care about them, right? If you take that 1-star and you're like, you know what can I do to make that right for that customer? Because if you wow that customer, he's going to tell so many people how good of an experience that he had with you because he had this bad experience. You turned it around, right? There is word of mouth value there. And they could go and post that in other places online. That's the first thing. The second thing, you can make a public comment at the bottom of every 1-star review. And so if you show that you've taken care of that customer and you write it in a way that shows that you truly, genuinely care about that they had a bad experience and that you're willing to help them fix it. Just like you said earlier, Ralph, you went to the 1-stars to see how bad is bad. Well, if the client writes a response and you see that next to the 1-star review, that company just turned that into a net positive. We call it a net positive review. And now it's your biggest asset. It's worth 100 5-stars.
Yeah.
Because consumers just want to know that you as a brand are taking care of people like them.
That's so good.
Like sometimes when I'm looking on books, I'll look at like what are the worst ones, and then someone's going to read a review because I like romantasy. Someone's be like, "Oh, I hate romantasy as a genre. This was a terrible book." I'm like, "What a useless review! You butthead! How dare you?
Why'd you buy it in the first place, idiot?"
Book clubs,
right?
Always.
Yeah. Well, and people in marketing talk about authenticity and transparency, right? Those are really common buzzwords. What does that mean? Well, as Scott said, if you show those 1-star or 2-star or 3-star reviews, and you also show how you're engaging with those people and taking care of their problems, you have now exemplified transparency and authenticity and trust. Yeah. If you hide, like it's the plague, and ignore it, then the consumer thinks, oh, you don't care about your customers, you don't take care of their problems. And back to what you were saying, Ralph, you just wanted to see how bad is. Was it a bad packaging, or did it arrive 2 days late? That's no big deal. Right. So you really just want to see what the risk factor is. And that's why a lot of people look at the negative reviews to see what the risk factor really is.
So pay attention to your 1-stars more so than your 5-stars.
Absolutely.
That's the huge takeaway here.
Well, leveraging
it's an opportunity. Yeah. Go ahead. Leverage it. Lean into it. It's an opportunity to say, I'm sorry, Ralph, that you had a negative experience. But as you can see, 98% of our customers have a 5-star experience. So we want to make this right. We want this to be a 5-star experience for you.
Yeah.
So you can kind of turn that around, right? Yeah. Just one more example of a client, Antigo Wheels. As you can see, again, they have their dedicated subfolder, their review subfolder. So they're showing up in position 1 for AntigoWheels.com reviews, which is super important. Okay. And then Shopper Approved is position 2 and 3 because of our dedicated microsite or subfolder itself. So again, this is part of that triangulation. So now if I'm looking to see, is this a credible, reliable, legitimate, trustworthy brand? Well, they own position 1, 2, 3, and in this case 4. And they've even got reviews here on Facebook, right? So this is a really good way to, again, show this is a trustworthy brand and mitigate that fear factor. And there's that dedicated review page. So I can trudge forth with confidence.
DJ, show them like a bad example. Like for example, like Nike, we all love Nike, but they really blow it when it comes to their online reputation. And this will give you an example of what bad reputation management looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, so so everyone loves Nike, right? He just went to Nike.com reviews. He just did a plain search on Google. Mm-hmm. The first listing is Trustpilot with a 1.7, right?
Wow.
And then the next one is reviews.io with a 3.3 or was 3.5? Then you've got Consumer Affairs with a 2.
Yeah.
And then Influencer has a 4.8, which there's that disparity, right? That cognitive dissonance. And then, what is that? Holopeter? I've never heard of that one. 2.1, and then a 2.9, right? So if you're a consumer and you're going and you're like, oh, I want to go and look and see, I want the newest pair of Nikes. Right. You're going to go here and you're going to be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Right? What the heck's going on here? But this happens across the board. This isn't just Nike. This is actually most brands. They look like this because they don't understand the strategy of triangulation and how important having a consistent brand online is. Yeah. They just miss it.
Yeah. Well, not many people are like, wow, I've heard of this brand called Nike. I wonder how good they are. Like no one said that ever.
Ever.
But Antigo wheels, like I just Googled Antigo wheels, not the .com. And Amazon shows up number 1. And I would imagine that's probably the case in most cases, because I know that for me, I'm not usually throwing in the URL, but Antigo Tire and Wheel is right below that with their reviews page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so, and their Amazon page is pretty darn good. So it goes back to the point where you have to triangulate here. Like I might buy on Amazon now, because I got Prime, and I'm going to compare prices. I'm going to see what's in stock, and I'm going to, now I have the trust factor. Then it becomes sort of a conversion event more so than anything. But, and obviously you need a great agency, tier 11, maybe to get you to the top of the rankings for those terms. The point is like you're looking at lots of different things. And then obviously Shopper Approved on that search is actually number 3. So you're flooding the top 3 with really good stuff just unto that and unto itself. That's got to be like the nugget of nuggets for you if you're an e-commerce store or if you're an agency looking to do some CRO or SEO for a page that people are already reviewing and already looking at. We know that 91% of people look at reviews. Is that what you guys stated before?
94% of people look at reviews, but 91% of people prefer the specific configuration that Amazon has created with the reviews, the Q&A, and the website security seal, which we then recreated in our traffic and conversion suite.
Got it. So, all right. So we understand the value of reviews. We understand the value of triangulation. What other things are quick wins for people if they wanted to try to do this themselves? Obviously, there's a solution here with you guys, but let's just talk about specifically what are the other the little hinge that swings the big door when it comes to this that you've seen. And reviews are obviously just having that page is a huge one. But what else?
Let me show you one more thing if I could.
Sure, let's do it. I love show and tell.
I love show and tell. So let's see.
Lauren, do you love show and tell?
Do I? Well.
Oh.
It's like, be careful now.
Loaded question.
So this is a case study we did with Antigo Wheels. This is Hunter Graham. He's their digital marketing director. And as you can see, right around June 1st, they installed the shopper-approved product and seller reviews. And then right around August 3rd, I believe it was, they installed the shopper-approved Q&A tool. And what you're looking at here is the SEMrush traffic graph. Now, this did kind of go down with the Google update in, I think it was February or March. But they went from over 500 unique visitors a month to 22,000 and some change, averaging around 21,500. Now, they did do some other SEO updates, but the Q&A tool was driving a lot of, as you can see, the SERP features and the top 3 page results in organic search and 4 through 10. So this was really the Q&A tool, which is, as we talked about, search optimized to get those long tail product questions in the top search results, primarily position 0 or the featured snippet, which is your SERP features. And in addition to that, because of the seller ratings and product reviews and Q&A, that combination also increased their conversion rate by 272%, according to their Shopify data. So we're really looking at the SEMrush data, and then they brought forth their Shopify data and said, yeah, not only do we get all these keywords on page 1, but we also increase our conversion rate by 272%, which of course is what you ultimately want, is a conversion rate, because that's where the revenue is. Traffic's traffic, but if you're not converting, it doesn't really matter. So that's just a great example of kind of another benefit of this solution, is getting those high purchase intent commercial keywords through Q&A onto page 1, which are automatically search optimized. So he gave us credit for half of their increase in traffic, but he gave us credit for all of their increase in conversion rate.
Right. Right.
Wow.
So you did this alongside, obviously, an SEO plan, and that the SEO plan worked specifically, probably for, high intent based keywords, or maybe long tail keywords, content, backlinking, you name it, but also trade name, brand name, individual product names that are, specific to the brand itself. But then you got that. Okay. So you're not taking all the credit, but the point is like, once they're there, like that's only half the battle. It's like getting the traffic doesn't matter. It's like, what do you actually do with it once you get it? And then that, that lift is pretty significant. And we're only sort of scratching the surface, is my guess, on the kind of stuff that you can do sort of after the fact. But we don't have 3 hours to explain that. Otherwise,
yeah, that's in our book.
Yeah, you guys didn't send me enough goodies in the mail to get 3 hours.
You sent me no goodies in the mail. This is why I was like, Ralph sends me this text. I'm like, this is all right. Cool.
Well, you promised a joke. You didn't deliver on the joke, so we're holding out on the goods.
I know. The joke wasn't really that good. So maybe we can give her an extra shot at the end here.
You showed us cookies, but we didn't get any cookies.
I was like, I can give you a joke in Mandarin. Would that impress you? That's just went silent.
I don't think it's a joke. That probably, that might not be a joke. We wouldn't know because we don't know Mandarin.
But it's a pickup line. My favorite type of
Chinese
jokes.
Food now. That's what I'm going for. Well, guys, it's been great to have you on, and obviously, my guess is that we'll probably hear more from you in the future. Where can they find you, and do you have something special for the PT listener? And keep in mind, these guys didn't pay to get on here. We're like, this is a product that I've talked about, mentioned, and dropped, and I actually texted you many times. Like, our favorite is Shopper Approved. I don't know about No Commerce and Yapto and all the other ones, but point is like, you guys have a really robust suite of services here. And if you're an agency or you're an e-commerce store, it's something that you should be checking out, because you can basically add a CRO division to your agency without adding a CRO division, especially if you deal with e-commerce. So where can people check you guys out? Do you have something a little bit special for the PT listener here?
Yeah, we've got this Reputation King kit, which is available at reputationking.com/PT for Perpetual Traffic. And you can download our audio and digital version of the book. This is a real book. This is not one of those phony baloney ebooks that are created out of a PowerPoint. It's 229 pages, 91 full-color illustrations, 49 expert citations, reviewed by 35 industry-leading experts. It's a real book, well-researched, cited, and sourced. So you get the free digital and audio version at reputationking.com/PT. And you can also order the full, there it is,
Yeah,
the full
look at that.
kit,
Lauren,
which is
eat your
amazing.
heart out.
I'm just going to eat my face out.
And that full kit is available for $20, and that includes postage. It's the book, it's the strategy guide, it's a bunch of other free surprise goodies in there that you'll love. And so there you go. There's one of those goodies. So
you know
well worth every penny.
I have those socks. So
you guys are good bribers.
Wow.
I own those exact same socks, Ralph. So
Do you?
I do.
Wow.
You don't, not quite.
I
like
do.
these.
I was like, I will run upstairs and show you them right now. But this isn't a feet pics kind of podcast.
So reputationking.com/PT. And obviously, if people are interested not only in the book and learning more about what we talked about here, but also maybe even trying out the product, obviously that's at shopperapproved.com, I have to assume.
Yep.
As well.
Yep. Shopperapproved.com. We have a free trial there.
A 45-day free trial.
45-day free trial. No credit card required.
That's
and here's
insane.
an extra special.
Yeah. You guys are nuts. I'm just saying that right now. But that's like an insanely great offer for this kind of thing.
No credit card.
No credit card.
So if you're listening to this and you want to see a 237%, you want a chance at a 237% increase, you just try for free. What, 45 days? That's a long time to see an impact. And you guys do on the service too, so it's not even like you're just left to your own devices.
Yeah, that's right. We have a white glove VIP team that will do the installation setup. And here's the creme de la creme. For PT listeners only, Scott and I will provide you, if you're an e-commerce store, a complete site review, which means we're going to look at your search results. We're going to point out all of the opportunities in search where you could be dominating, should be dominating, and we'll tell you how to dominate. And we'll also show you your homepage, category page, and product page, and we'll show you how to remove friction and help you drive more conversions throughout the conversion path. So that's something that we'll do just for you guys. And of course, we're going to, recommend the best agency in the world to help you with everything else. And we know who that is.
Mongoose Media.
Don't listen
but we will
the blonde.
Don't listen to Crazy Blonde. But we'll go through the book with you, and we'll explain what we do and how to optimize your conversion path using our tools and strategies. And that's completely complimentary. We just want to really bring value to the Perpetual Traffic audience.
So they can get that at reputationking.com/PT, that complete site review, or is there somewhere else where they can get that?
So what we'll do is we'll reach out after they download that book. If they download it from that landing page, only that landing page, and then we'll ask them if they want a site review.
Awesome.
And if you're an agency and you don't take advantage to have immediately delivered value to your e-commerce clients, well, okay, silly rabbit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. And very generous offer. Usually people just say, connect with us on LinkedIn. I'll leave your LinkedIn profiles too, so people can bug you and hunt you down and start selling you guys stuff too, just like they do for me, which I'm sure you guys get hounded by all the time. And Lauren Petrullo, we have that Telegram group that we're talking to all the time. Make sure that you do join that group, perpetualtraffic.com/Telegram. Make sure you subscribe and leave a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. Those really do help. And of course, we did broadcast this on YouTube, so make sure that you watch it on perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube. Most importantly, don't forget reputationking.com/PT. That's the most important call to action. So thank you, Scott and DJ, for coming on today.
You bet.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.
On behalf of my awesome co-host, Lauren Petrullo.
Ciao.
Till next show, see ya.